By the fated flap of a butterfly's wing, and the power vested in me by the American Marriage Ministries, I now pronounce you married. You may kiss your beloved.
Welcome to GayTalk 2.0, the ultimate podcast for your dose of dish. Surprise, ladies and gents, and welcome to another episode of GayTalk 2.0, an LGBT podcast streaming live on Digital Stream Radio, where you can access the audio live stream typically Wednesday at 6 p.m. On digitalstreamradio.com. But today we're coming to you with a surprise episode. We were off last week and we didn't want to go through a whole week. We had some things happen and we were like, we have to record a show. So we decided to do a surprise show today.
Basically,
Thursday.
my life is a mess.
All of us.
All of us. I think that falls in line with everybody.
Yeah. Pretty much. We're all a hot mess. But anyway, we are here and it's Thursday and it's 5:15 and we were like, let's go live and let's just do this. And that's what we're doing. So my name is Tom and I am your host. And as always, I'm in the studio with my amazing friends, starting with the first one.
Hey, y'all. Nick or Trish.
And
J Bear, aka your boyfriends.
What the hell was that? KKK? Let it all out, baby.
I'm still getting
They've been
over that.
canceled.
Yeah,
Okay.
they have been.
Yeah.
Here we go. We'll start fresh.
Yes.
J Bear, aka your boyfriend's boyfriend.
Proud of you, baby. And welcome, everyone. This is The Dish. So we've got a lot to unpack. There's a lot of things that have happened. Mm-hmm. We missed the show last week, basically because there were some issues that were happening. Things needed to be addressed, and we couldn't all make it into the studio to record last week's episode. So we took the night off, and then this week it was just like a landslide. Mm-hmm. It was like one thing after the other. Election night was on Tuesday. We'll talk about that a little bit in a couple of minutes. But I'm going to toss it over to my boys. Why don't we start with you, Jay? How are you? What have you been up to?
Getting over the flu.
Hence why.
That was my to do. Basically we had the grandkids over for Thanksgiving. Look at me. I'm ahead of myself.
Not yet, baby. Not yet.
Had the kids over over the weekend for a Halloween get together.
Right.
And one of the twins was coughing. And of course by 4:30 in the morning, he gets up crying with a fever. And he's like, it hurts. We gave him cough medication, made him comfortable, put him to bed. He was running a fever because he had the flu.
Right.
We weren't aware of it. Following day, we took him home to mom, and she took him to the hospital, and confirmed he had the flu and he had a pneumonia going at the same time.
Lord, have mercy, poor boy.
So he ended up in the hospital 3 days.
And he's what, 11 now?
No, they're 9 now.
9 years old, and such little bodies.
Yeah.
Such little bodies.
They're preemies, so they are small.
Right.
So again, we weren't fully aware what was going on. So of course he wasn't feeling well. He likes to lay down next to us in bed. And then Monday morning, I had a slight cough, and so did the missus. And Tuesday morning we got up, and it felt like a truck ran us over.
Yeah, and he sent me a message. I was like, whatever you do, stay home.
Stay home.
Do not come up into the studio.
Yeah.
And
No.
we decided,
bad,
that amongst, a lot of the things that happened, but we decided that we were going to
stay
away from the studio. It's okay.
Yeah.
If one thing that COVID taught us was that it's okay to shut it down and to step away and then come back, right?
Get that rest.
I had an event on Saturday, and my coworker, not my coworker, the girl that works in my department came in, and I was like, you don't look or sound very good. She's like, yeah, I think I'm getting a cold. I was like, leave.
Yeah.
She's been out of the office all week.
Yeah.
Like, go home.
Yeah, we Zoomed today, and I was like, you still sound bad. Like, take the rest of the afternoon. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Right.
the funny thing is, again, Monday, I'm in the offices, and I'm in my computer. I mean, I'm not really sorting. And then my coworker, Mercy, she wasn't there.
Right.
Because she's working from home. But my other coworker Ralph, who's behind me, he's like, dude, you don't sound great. Go home. Like he told me like 3 times.
Like mask up and leave.
Yeah, and I was like,
Yeah.
you know what? It's just to me, and I mean, no body aches, no. It was just like a cough, and I'm like, it's these allergies because my allergies have been kicking my ass again.
Right.
I was like, it's
And
the allergies.
It's that time of year, right?
So I'm like, and then there's that infection that all the kids are PVC, PCV,
Yeah,
I don't even know the initials anymore.
It's a respiratory infection that has been very common in children. It
like
exploded.
wildfire this year.
It exploded.
So that's what we assumed was happening at home. That's what we assumed with Javi. That's what we assumed was happening with us.
All these name drops.
Yeah,
It's like,
so
he's on a roll over here.
I was like, and then left work. I went and I saw my grandson in the hospital. And then, we're there. My daughter's like, yeah, the doctors just came in. He tested positive for the flu. And I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
Well, there's nothing you could do at that point. I mean, he had already spent the weekend with us.
Right.
So, just I literally slept for 2.5 days, ran a fever, and changed the blankets in the bed like 4 times.
Right.
Because my wife and myself were both just out of it.
Well, I mean, and it just goes to show you that, if you have children, you are bound to have kids bring everything home. So as a parent, be prepared to be sick and still have to get up and do your duty and, cook, clean, wipe butts and all that good stuff, even when you are like dying.
Yes.
It's just unfortunately the way it is. This is why I don't have kids. If I'm dying, I just want to die in peace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a tough, and here we are a week later, and I still have that residual cough going.
Right, and you'll probably linger around for a while. So it is what it is.
But to be honest, I think this hit me harder than the times I've had COVID.
Yeah,
much worse.
Yeah.
I can think of other things that have hit me harder.
The first time I
Solar
had COVID,
panels. No.
it was like, wow.
Solar panels. I got a story for you.
Oh boy.
Anyway,
Yeah.
No, I was just saying the first time I had COVID, it was like having the flu, but
It wasn't
then
intense.
the second and third time,
it was just like my God, and the fourth. Let's not forget the fourth.
Not yet. No.
Oh, not yet.
No.
So
Was there a fourth?
I don't know.
We forget.
I'm happy.
But that's the thing. It's weird because everybody, like, initially we were terrified. COVID, and you're terrified.
Yeah, I don't want
And
to
you
be a
don't-
zombie.
Yeah. And to be honest, even when I got it the third time, when we came back from Mexico, I had a cold. That's all.
Right.
That was it. This
Well,
thing
I mean, but you were
me
also
out.
vaccinated,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
so therefore you already had a lot of, the
yeah. True.
the antibodies in your system to sort of kind of prevent the severe reactions that people got from COVID when they weren't vaccinated.
True,
So that's a huge advantage for those who got vaccinated, right? That
but
your body's already recognizing.
For me, even with the vaccinations, because even when I was doing my flu vaccines years ago,
Right.
I would still end up with the flu, and I'd still be out 3-4 days out of work. So to me, there was no personally, I didn't see the benefit of the vaccine.
Right.
And now with COVID, when this happened, that was a whole other story. So I was like, yeah, definitely, especially with mom being in a nursing home,
Right.
I had to get it. In order to be able to visit and see her. So
It's important.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
speaking of vaccinations, I got my first monkeypox vaccine when we went to Pride New Haven. You and I got them together. And then I went and got my second one. So I'm officially fully immunized for monkeypox. And I went to the Pride Center in New
Thank
Haven.
God, because of solar panels.
I know. No, and I went to the New Haven Pride Center. They were having this, medical team came in from one of the supporting, healthcare facilities that actually were giving out COVID boosters, monkeypox vaccine. So I went into the center and got my monkeypox vaccine.
should have told me.
I'm sorry. It was just
Haven't
all
I told you that Bridgeport's been like hell?
Oh. Well, so the medical provider actually is Griffin Health. So Griffin Health Hospital is the one that was hosting.
Yeah, but I reached out and they don't do it over there.
So I'll have to give you my card because they gave me a card where you can see providers and stuff that are offering it.
Please.
So, it was good. It was great to see everyone and, to see people in the Pride Center and see them having such an amazing event for the community, right? And which is amazing just to have that resource. And so thank you for allowing me to go get my free monkeypox vaccine. Yeah, I got to snack it because it hurts for a little bit for a while. So,
Nice.
so Trish, how are you?
Oh God, you want to walk down that road?
Yes.
Only if you want to. You know how I am. You
Yeah.
don't have to if you don't want
I'll
to.
give you a brief overview.
Yeah, let's just do a very high level.
All right. So last Wednesday, I couldn't attend the
WikiLeaks.
show because, speaking of the New Haven Pride Center, we lost our nonprofit status, and we had to basically remove the executive director. There are articles online if you would like to read more about it, but it's become pretty much a second job for me.
Right.
And I had a meeting with the staff and the board, and it was tough. It was hard. This whole process has been really hard because I love Patrick dearly, and it was tough.
Right.
So I've been dealing with that.
Right. And the good thing is that, the community rallies. So I know that we're going to find support and we're going to move beyond this and do what we need to do to get the Pride Center where it needs to be.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. And so,
it's
and
not
I'm
going
confident.
anywhere.
Right.
Yeah, we're going to be fine. We have a lot of things in place to make sure that we're moving forward in the right direction. But the board has become a working board. So it is really like another job for me right now.
Right.
And then on top of that, Monday, my grandfather passed away.
He did. My condolences, babe.
Sorry to hear.
Yeah, it's tough. But it was, so that happened. And then in lighter news, yesterday, I married a couple.
Right. So
that explains our opener, right?
That is a
We should
roller
say.
coaster of emotive, very emotional, transitions going from, chaos to marriage to death in the family. God, you must be
I'm fucking shot.
oh, Lord have mercy. So first and foremost,
I'll take back my complaints to be honest. But
condolences,
our heartfelt condolences
to you and your
definitely.
family.
Thank you.
I know that your grandpa was very loved. He was an amazing, funny man.
And I think one of the last liberals in my family besides me.
Oh, Lord.
There was a video, actually, it was pretty funny, where he was bitching about Trump during his presidency, and he was like, that motherfucker, he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He probably has a fucking small dick. And I was just like, Grandpa! Yes!
But and so clearly there was a really, really deep connection between you and your grandfather, and when you lose people like that, people who align with you on so many levels, in the level of love, of being family, of being protective and supportive, right? It's very heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's tough. I don't know why. I mean, Monday was really tough for me, but I don't think it's hit me really.
Right.
I may start crying in a minute, but he was an amazing man. He lived a really amazing life. He did this thing.
We have Clorox wipes. I don't have tissues. I'm just saying.
God.
Wipe my ass. He did this thing. Every card I got, Christmas, birthday, or whatever, he always drew a Porky Pig. He could draw Bambi or Porky Pig. And so all of us, we would always get a Porky Pig.
It's because he knew you were a little pig.
Oh, yeah.
Probably. So jokingly, I was on a FaceTime with my family trying to figure out plans and whatnot. And I was like, we should probably put an etching of Porky Pig on his gravestone. And they were like, oh my God, that's such a great idea. I was like, I was joking. And they're like, no, we're doing it. I was like,
We're doing it.
okay.
You totally should. I mean, you know what? He probably would love that.
Oh,
He
no,
probably would
100%,
totally love
yeah.
that.
So, yeah.
And it's worth, knowing, or at least understanding that Grandpapa was sick for a very long time.
Yeah.
He was battling some health issues,
stuff, yeah.
and so obviously this contributed to the fact that he's no longer with us. So the family was sort of prepared.
Honestly, after I spoke with my father the other day, and while obviously we're all devastated, we are in a way relieved because the person he was a year ago is not who he was, you know, in the past probably 6-7 months.
Right.
And so, yeah, he's in a better place. He's with my grandmother and my aunt, and he finally, you know, so yeah.
Yeah. Well,
There's some relief in that, yeah.
again, you know, it still doesn't take away the fact that, you know, he was ill and that he's gone, and the illness had anything to do with that. Takes away from the fact that you still miss him.
Yeah. The only thing I will say, and I don't want to think about life with regret in general, but I should have flown down and seen him one more time, and I didn't do it. You know, when we knew he was, you know, getting to that place, we were like, "We'll hold off. He's going home. Everything's going to be okay. We're going down for Thanksgiving. We'll see him." That is probably my only regret.
And you know what? Don't beat yourself up over it. I know it's cliche to say, or it's, you know, in the moment for you to understand that, you know, it's there's nothing that you can do. When it's our time, it's our time, right? And you recently flew down to Florida. You got an opportunity to do that. So, you know,
I spent a lot of time with him the past year when I've been going back and forth. So,
so, you know, take that with you. You know, carry that with you. That, you know, you had plenty of opportunity to really spend quality time with him. And I'll never forget the story that you were telling us, you know, when he bought a house right behind your parents, and he had this entire like technological like panel that he didn't understand, and you had to like sit there and try to teach him how to use it. You know, from Wi-Fi to cameras or whatever. It's like all automated. And you know, the guy was in his 90s. So can you imagine like handing a 90-year-old that's never seen a flip phone an iPhone and saying, "Here"?
he was pretty tech savvy.
Well, I mean, but you know, I'm just saying, like, if I were to hand my grandmother an iPhone, she'd be like, "You do it." You know, it's just, it is what it is. But, you know.
One time I tried to help him with some stuff, banking stuff on his computer. And I signed into his computer, and you know how you can magnify the screen? It was so large that I had a hard time like navigating the browser. The browser. It was so funny, but he was like, "What's taking you so long?" I'm like,
Grandpa, we need to like bring this down a little bit. So, well, all I can say is, what was your grandfather's name?
John Emilio Bussett.
John Emilio Bussett. May you rest in peace.
And you know what? His I'm not going to give you the full password, but password for a lot of stuff was Emilio Can, Emilio, Chris, Amanda, Nick.
Oh, so it was Emilio Can, and then all of his grandchildren's names.
Yeah.
So did he only have this is your father's father, right?
Yeah.
So it was only the four of you, his grandchildren. Did he have other grandchildren from
the three of us? Yeah.
But I was including your brother.
Yeah. Yep. So it would be 5 total, but yeah.
Right. Okay, well, may he rest in peace. Yeah. Beautiful man, strong. I mean, he's a Bussett. He was a Bussett. So, I mean, you know, this is what we got here.
We crazy.
Yes. All right. So, wow. Let's move on.
But I did marry someone yesterday.
So which is what I was going to go to. So you married someone yesterday, and we played you a little bit of the audio. I want to play it again one more time because I want you to pay attention to the first line as he's reading, officiating this wedding. So first and foremost, I didn't know that you officiated weddings, and I found that about you like 2 or 3 weeks ago when you mentioned that you were marrying someone.
Yes.
And then this happened, so let's take a listen to the audio.
By the fated flap of a butterfly's wing, and the power vested in me.
That's all I wanted to hear. By the fainted flap of a butterfly's wing.
Fated flap, yeah.
Fated flap of a butterfly's wing.
So I married 2 of our friends that we work with at the bar, Juan and Nick. And it was so cute and beautiful. It was literally just family, assortment of friends, and I got to write at a ceremony, which I haven't done in like a while. and I wrote it, and it was so sappy and so adorable. But I wanted to add something from Moira Rosen, and yesterday I was like, would you mind if I surprised you with something at the end of the ceremony? And Nick was like, no. Juan was like, what?
He's like, whatever.
Whatever.
All right.
And so I did that, and the room just started laughing, and there were like ahs and laughing. But
Right.
it was like, it was a good time. It was nice to feel like I could do that again, because I haven't done that in a long time. So
Yeah. No, it's very beautiful. I watched the video. Obviously, we got the audio from the video one more time. Let's listen to it.
By the fated flap of a butterfly's wing, and the power vested in me by the American Marriage Ministries, I now pronounce you married. You may kiss your beloved.
Oh, that's so cute. So congratulations to Nick and Juan. Juan, is it?
yeah, we all call him Sebastian.
Yeah.
But it's Juan.
Sebastian. But Juan and Nick and not this Nick, obviously. This bitch ain't getting married unless I'm the runaway car. So congratulations to them both. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
it was fun.
When I tell you, it's been a roller coaster of emotions in many different varieties for all of us. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, so that's why we,
Yeah.
have been a little sporadic with our recordings.
But we're here. We're queer,
here.
which is amazing.
Yeah.
We love you to our 3 fans.
Yeah.
No.
No, we only have 2 now, because that Beyonce comment I made a couple years ago.
Yeah,
Oh, boy.
she got cut
Yeah.
quickly. All right, so I want to talk about the other elephant in the room, elections.
Oh.
Holy shit!
gonna
Can you tell me? No, there's only one
Not
elephant in
In
this
this
room.
room.
Are we going straight through?
Apparently we are.
Well, we're 20 minutes in. It's up to you.
Oh, we're only 20 minutes in.
It's this darkness that makes us feel like, oh my God, time is just not moving, or that time has flown. Can we talk about how nail biting this election was?
Can we do that in the second half and maybe talk about the Property Brothers first? Because I feel like that's going to be a longer conversation.
Okay, so we can do that. So we're going to shift over. All right.
Perfect.
So more death for
but like in a positive way.
While we were in the subject of death,
I didn't even think about that, Tom.
So as we
That was
know,
great.
our beloved comedian in our community, Leslie Jordan, passed away a couple of weeks ago. And it was really sad. He was an amazing spirit, lots of love from a lot of celebrities and people who knew him, people who saw his shows, people who engaged with him in any capacity. And obviously all the time that this amazing little fucker spent throughout the pandemic entertaining us from his home.
Yeah.
Right. So he... And all of a sudden now the story doesn't want to open. So he ended up
just had the
like,
same issue.
So I have it open.
of course you do, like your whole.
So the Property Brothers have a show called Celebrity IOU.
Right.
And that's where celebrities, there are people in their lives that they choose to help out, whether it's family, whether it's friends, whether it's a small project or a big project. But basically they pay for a renovation. And so Leslie Jordan gifted best friends home renovation before he passed away.
Right. And there's been a lot of celebrities, like for example, Brad Pitt did an episode. Oh God.
What's her name?
Melissa McCarthy
Thank
did an
you.
episode. She was in The Help. Oh my God. Oh, I hate when I can't remember actress's name. She won a fucking Oscar recently.
I know.
Not Octavia Spencer.
No.
Her
No, I'm blanking too. And you're making me feel bad about it.
God, I hate it.
I don't know who the hell you're talking about.
She's the
You
actress
guys are a lot
that,
better than I am when it comes
How
to
to
that.
Get Away with Murder. She was the lead actress in that. Oh my God, why can I not remember this? This is horrible. A whole bunch of celebrities. Anyway, the name will come to me. It will. Have done the show, and it's amazing because you get to see the people. You get to be celebrities being human.
Lisa Kudrow.
I remember.
Oh, this
Lisa,
is season 3. Hold on. Season 2.
There's a lot of
Zooey Deschanel.
Remember her?
Justin Hartley.
Mm-hmm.
Leanne Rimes.
I remember hers.
Kevin Hart. Gwyneth Paltrow.
He was fun. Gwyneth was awesome.
Josh Groban.
I seen Josh's episode. See how many
Tiffany
celebrities?
Haddish. I have not seen that episode. Need to watch it.
It's hilarious, but it's not Tiffany who I'm talking about.
I know. I'm looking.
God. Who is she? I can't remember.
Viola Davis.
Viola Davis. Thank you. And so what I love about the show is that you get to see celebrities in a different light. You get to see them as humans. You get to see them as, having heart. Not that they don't ordinarily, but you
it's
get
like a glimpse into their personal life.
Right. And gifting their friends or their loved ones or people who have made significant impacts in their careers and lives on a personal or even, professional level. It's awesome to see.
Yeah.
Right.
There was one moment when Melissa McCarthy was doing hers, and I believe it was for her aunt and uncle, and her uncle had this lazy boy chair.
The chair, right?
The chair. And it just became this iconic thing. How are we going? We're getting rid of it. It's going away. But how are we going to replace it?
Right.
It was just this thing.
But I feel, so while the uncle did love the new chair, I feel like he was like, y'all fucked up. Y'all fucked up because that was the one thing you shouldn't have gotten rid of.
Meanwhile, Melissa's like, oh, that thing, I lit it on fire.
Yeah.
It's gone.
She hated it.
But it's a good show. So anyway, Leslie did the show, and as the writer was explaining on in the story, is that the sad part is that he's never gonna be able to see the episode air. Mm-hmm. And I, for one, now that I know it exists, would love to see the episode because Leslie is hilarious.
Yeah, but he was able to swing a sledgehammer into the walls on Demolition Day. So that will be a lot of fun to watch.
Oh my God, I can't wait. Yeah. So do I know any celebrity friends that want to give me a home remodel makeover?
Yeah, because we have ideas.
Yeah, I have plenty of ideas. Bulldozer the house, start fresh. Yeah, I want
full reno,
like a full reno. What I really would like is an underground level where the back of the house or the back side of the house opens up to the backyard. That's the underground level, and then the
accordion style doors.
Yes, of course. And then the first level would be obviously facing the front, but the entire front is going to be nothing but windows. And then the roof is not going to be like a typical gable. It's just going to be one flat roof going down to the back. So it's going to be all windows in the front. So when the sun comes in, they can see Tommy in his full, naked glory.
This is why I need a move-in ready home.
Right.
Because I watch too much HGTV.
I know.
I can't.
You would see me parading from one side of the long-ass window to the other side of the long-ass window.
In a sarong with solar panels.
Right. Waving my hands at everyone as we're all walking down. Look at me, I'm Miss America. And it would be hilarious. But yes, that would be that would
you
be
can
my
make
dream.
a deck on the roof so you can have rooftop parties, right?
I could Jay.
But what about the solar panel?
We can build a roof on top of the rooftop deck and put the solar panels on that.
Pergola. Love it.
Hello. No, but I think it would be cool. I think it would, because that would give me an opportunity to flatten my backyard, because my backyard goes down in a hill.
I want a pool and I want a hot tub. That's all I'm asking.
Pool comes
for.
first.
Fuck.
The hot tub.
Hot tub in the pool.
Or in the pool, yeah. We'll
Combo.
do both.
No, he wouldn't give it to me that easy.
Well,
you know how long I've been asking for this hot tub?
I know. This bitch thinks I'm fucking rich.
Just order one and have it delivered here.
Yeah, and then I'll put it together.
That doesn't make sense either.
Because then she has to pay for it.
Yeah, well, yeah.
That's what she doesn't want to do. She wants to be able to just walk in and sit and just chill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got you. You got money. You just don't spend it. We know.
Oh, I don't have money. Believe me, I don't have money.
I didn't say that.
I didn't say that.
She did.
What did I say to you the other day
What?
about the money thing?
She was like, "Save those cans. I gotta go cash them." Something like that.
No, so-
I don't
So
remember.
this is a little depressing, but like my grandfather has money, And my coworker, I was like, I'm fucking struggling right now. Like, I just need something. So she's a Wiccan, and she did like, I guess, a money spell
On moi.
Yeah, and I got some stuff at work that was very positive, and
Nice.
then I was like, oh my god, did she like force my grandfather into an early grave?
Oh my god.
Because that means clearly, I mean, he would get an inheritance, and so he was like, Tom, I hope.
So you're getting hot tub money.
No, that money is money I can't touch.
Okay. On that note,
Hot tub money.
we're gonna take a break, and we will be back, and we'll have certainly more dish. So, stick around. All right, we are back from our break. Thank you for allowing us to take that break. We needed to refresh our adult beverages and all that good stuff, and we're back. We are back. Okay, so we left off, with Leslie Jordan and all that stuff, but I definitely want to talk about these elections.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So first and foremost, have you ever experienced a more nail-biting election in your life?
Yes.
Which one?
Trump and Hillary.
You're right. That was very no, but this was because we're talking about control of Congress, right? We have a Democratic president that's sitting currently in office, and depending on the outcome of this election, will determine whether or not this president will either spend the next 2 years vetoing bills that the Republican Party will throw at him, or if we still, as a country, are able to introduce legislation and pass legislation that is going to help the American people. And I'll start off with what people were predicting. Polls, left and right, were saying that Democrats were going to get slammed, slaughtered. It was going to be a shellacking. It was going to be. So Donald Trump Jr., I'll say his name, posted on Twitter as soon as the polls started closing. He posted something to the effect of, this is going to be slaughter with 3 exclamation points or something like that. And it didn't ended up being that. So right now we're in the same situation we were 2 years ago, where most likely, given how Nevada and I think Nevada and Arizona right now are the only ones that we're still waiting on results for, because we know that, again, Georgia is going to a runoff. So we're going to have another election on December 6th that, depending on how Nevada and Arizona go, will determine who controls the Senate. And there is a possibility, a very small, slim possibility, that Democrats can still hold the House, given, the way things are playing out. And right now, California doesn't have an election day or an election night. They have an election season because it takes them forever to count anything, because there's so many people in California. You got to think about California is right now, it used to be the 5th largest economy on the globe. It is now the 4th largest economy on the globe. And so they have a lot of people. I mean, in Congress alone, they have like 50 plus members. That's how many people California has. Yep. So it's going to take them forever to count. Anywhere between 2 to 3 weeks, they're expecting to finalize who won what in what House seat. That will determine whether or not we have control in either house, and that we can, again, continue to pass legislation and do good things for the American people, or if we're just going to spend the next 2 years seeing, Biden block everything with his veto pen, essentially. But it was nail biting, and it's still nail biting. We're not knowing.
Our fucking system is broken.
It's crazy. But I will tell you that there's some highlights, in a sense. Some of the elections, there were a couple of members in the LGBTQ plus community that made some strides. Oregon, the state of Oregon, elected its first lesbian, Tina Kotek, as governor.
I know. Amazing.
Yes. Massachusetts elected its first female governor, who also happens to be a member of the LGBTQ plus community. Claps for her. And then let's see who else. There's another story in here. There's a couple of more names. Alaska has elected their first out state legislator, which is huge. Please open it on the right screen. Thank you very much. But not only have they elected, one out, and of course, these stories don't want to open.
What is with your computer?
I don't know. She's going through it, like that one over there. Time to replace all this equipment.
Can I get a donation?
The important thing is that we're seeing a lot of representation in our community start being elected either at state houses. We saw this in 2020 or 2018 when Virginia elected 6 different members of the LGBTQ plus community into their state house. So it's quite historic. So Jenny Armstrong, Ashley Carrick, and Andrew Gray have broken the lavender ceiling, is what they're calling it.
I know, yeah.
I love it. I love it. It's so cute.
Not the only ones, but keep going.
Right, not the only one. So Alaska again elected its first out state legislator. Armstrong prevailed over Republican Liz Vasquez in the House District 6, while Gray bested 2 Republicans and a Libertarian in District 20. And Carey beat 2 Republicans and a Constitution Party member in District 35. Under Alaska's voting system, up to 4 candidates can run in a general election. And so bravo for Alaska.
Yeah,
makes me want to go visit. You've been to Alaska before.
Beautiful.
You have family up there.
Yeah.
Want to tell us a little bit about that before we keep going? Where did you go in Alaska?
Anchorage. We went to Anchorage,
of course, the capital.
Capital. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It was amazing.
Right.
So my nephew married into the family, so now we technically, have family out there. But amazing place to go and stay. It was like being, it's weird because it's like being in the damn postcard the whole time you're there because the mountain drops and
it looks like Europe.
Oh, it's insane. It's beautiful. I definitely want to go back.
Right. I mean, I would love to visit
2012 we went and definitely something I'd do again.
Oh, this was pre-Donald Dump days.
Yes.
So can I just say that we didn't see the red wave, right?
We did not. We did not see the red wave at all.
But some people are actually calling the 2022 election the rainbow wave.
Which is well deserved, and we have another candidate that we want to talk about that is a little bit closer to home for us, and I'll let Nick talk about that.
But first, I want to mention that on November 8th, 678 people on the ballot were of the LGBTQ plus community. That is an 18% increase from 2020. That's huge.
It's massive, right? And then given the situation in Florida, right, with the whole "Don't Say Gay" bill and all of this legislation that they're passing, the fact that the governor of Florida got an opportunity to actually draw the congressional map to the point where he drew in 4 districts to guarantee Republican winners in those districts. And they ended up going Republican. So they gained 4 seats, which is what we're talking about in the sense that, potentially we could lose control of the House because of that, because of what DeSantis did in Florida. And the interesting thing too is that there's a potential that DeSantis might run for president, and Donald Dump started bad mouthing him immediately after he won his election as governor in Florida again, right? Re-election. So there's a potential that we might see some rivalry if Dump gets into the race again, which he could potentially announce next week.
So I want to pose a question.
Okay.
And I said this in the chat the other day. Do you think if he runs, the Democrats need to find a new running candidate.
I don't think so.
I do.
I do.
And let me explain why. Because when you think about what happened in 2020, Joe Biden got 7 to 8, I believe 9 million more votes than Dump did.
Right, but looking at the state of our country right now, though we didn't see what we thought we were going to see with the 2022 election, I worry.
Well, we all do. But, in the end, regardless of what we think, the decision is up to him and his family to decide whether or not he's going to run. And every president who has ever been president has aspired to have a second term.
Right,
That
of course,
is, and I'm not going to be the one to take away from that. And I think, honestly, that he's done a good job. He got us through a pandemic. Unfortunately, his numbers don't represent that, but a lot of people don't realize our economy has been at its best in a long time, even though people don't see that because of the issues with inflation, which have nothing to do with anything that he's done.
No,
It's all has to do with what has been happening in Ukraine and what Russia has been doing. That's been causing the global markets to react this way and people to raise prices, and everything is more expensive because of what's happening. But it has nothing to do with anything that was done in the U.S. It's like, it kills me too. Like when they say gas prices are up, let's blame the president. He has no control over that.
I mean, no and yes, but yeah.
I mean, he could, for example, take what we have in the Federal Reserve and release it to help us bring down the prices. But he has no control over these petroleum, suppliers and what they decide they want to charge per barrel. He has no control over that. And it's irritating when people start blaming presidents. It doesn't matter whether it's a Republican president or a Democratic president. They have no control over the market that way. And so when people started talking about, gas prices are up, inflation, everything costs more, these are all things that are beyond the control of any party that's ruling currently. And aside from passing certain things, like the current inflation, act that they passed to help mitigate the damage that it has done to the American people, there's not much you can do. If Putin wants to be an asshole and start trying to invade sovereign countries, he's going to do that. And the only thing we can do is just sit here and hope that the rest of the powers of the world can persuade this egomaniac to sit the fuck down. Like, find a stadium with empty chairs, pick one and sit the fuck down. That's what he needs to do. Anyway.
All right. Well, going back to the election,
yes.
I'm just going to run through this again.
Gay people.
A lot of firsts. So, nation's first openly lesbian governor elected.
Massachusetts.
Yep.
Yes, queen.
All right. Then we had first trans man in state legislature.
Yes.
That's amazing. And that was in New Hampshire. First out LGBTQ immigrant elected to Congress.
Snaps for him or her or they.
First openly gay person elected in Vermont.
Yes.
First out lesbian Latina elected to state legislature.
In what state?
Arizona.
You better work, Arizona.
First out LGBTQ woman to serve in Iowa State Senate.
Work.
And then there are some notable re-elections, but we can move on. But what is really important is that Connecticut had a first too.
Yes, we did.
And we love him
We
dearly.
love him dearly. He's a personal friend of ours.
Mr. Eric Russell shatters the lavender ceiling as well as the first black LGBTQ person ever elected statewide in U.S. history.
Which is amazing. And he is now going to be our Connecticut State Treasurer.
Correct.
I'm proud to have voted for our friend Eric. He's an amazing human being. And
Jay?
Did you vote for Eric? You better.
Across the board.
Did you vote?
He just said
Across
Democrat.
the board.
Across the board, yeah.
Good. Proud of you. And of course, our champion, Rosa DeLauro, got reelected. This woman is a champion of many different things. She was just amazing and a very polarizing figure when it comes to fighting the alt-right and putting people in their place when it comes to anything that has to do with minorities and the people that she represents in her district. She's amazing. And I also want to congratulate the governor of Colorado. He was in 2020 the first gay man to be elected to Colorado office, and he was just reelected in this election, which is huge.
So I don't want to take away from that, but I want to go back to Eric for a second.
Yeah, please.
Because I want to talk about the Victory Fund. So the Victory Fund is a fund that works to achieve and sustain equality by increasing the number of openly LGBTQ elected officials at all levels of the government while ensuring they reflect the diversity of those they serve. They have been in operation since 1991, obviously a nonprofit, but this fund funded Eric. And it is just so beautiful to see that somebody from Connecticut, somebody who is married and can get up there and say thank you to his husband in his acceptance speech, was funded by this organization.
Right.
And the CEO of the organization said, for far too long, people of color and the LGBTQ plus community have lacked equitable representation in the government. Eric shattered this lavender ceiling and made history because voters trust him to usher in a new chapter for Connecticut and our nation. One founded in inclusion and compassion. Sorry, I'm tearing up.
That's okay.
His deep policy experience and grassroots support will make him an exceptional state executive. I'm not going to keep going, but it is just amazing to see the outpouring of support at all levels for state treasurer.
Right. And you know, I think that this particular sentence is very important. Not only is his win a sharp rebuke on the current wave of homophobia and racism that's plaguing our country, it's a moment of inspiration to our community that our political future is brighter than ever. They also went on to note that, you know, there are currently just 115 black and out elected officials serving in the U.S. nationwide, none of whom serve in statewide positions, according to the LGBTQ Victory Institute. So making him one of the first to hold a statewide office.
Making him 116.
Right. So this is huge.
And he's beautiful.
And
I
he's
love his
gorgeous.
husband.
And, oh my God, aren't they great?
So I was texting him earlier. I was like,
of course you were.
If we were like recording and we accidentally called you, would you be able to talk? He's like, I'm with my family tonight. Let's schedule something.
We should. We should totally like invite him to. I think he would come. You don't think? I think he would. Yeah. I think he would sit with us.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I mean, we say some crazy stuff sometimes, so, you know, we might have to.
Yeah, but he doesn't have to say the crazy stuff.
Right. He just has to just sort of kind of be like, yeah, I don't agree with that. No comment. No comment. Exactly.
There will be a lot of no comment.
No comment. And, you know, recently I ran into one of our previous guest hosts, Hartman.
Yeah.
Dave Hartman, who is now a retired police officer, who is detail for Rosa DeLauro. But now that elections are over, he can come on the show and talk to us, and he's going to join us at some point. I have to reach out to him and get him to sit with us. He is hilarious. He's such a sweetheart. And, you know, he's just Dave is Dave. That's all I can say. But yeah, anyway.
Some choice words for New Haven PD.
Are there? From
me.
From you?
After 3-hour wait, they never showed up.
Oh, do we want to talk? No, we don't. No, we don't want to talk. No. We definitely don't want to talk.
But if you get into a car accident in New Haven, don't call the cops. They never show up.
Yeah, it'll be a while.
That's my rant over.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
3 fucking hours and they never showed.
But anyway, back to this election. We're still waiting for results. For Arizona, we're waiting for results in Nevada to determine who will be our senators from those states, or these senators, not ours, because obviously ours is
Nevada.
And of course, now the runoff. We have to wait till December 6th to find out either if Warnock or the other Trump idiot is going to be successful in this runoff. My money's on Warnock. Obviously, now that the election is over, I can start funding some money that way because they're going to need it.
No, we have to get a new computer.
No, but I'm talking about grassroots. Like, I'll donate $10 here or $10 there. I mean, it's just to make sure that, they have something to use. It saddens me that Stacey Abrams, unfortunately, wasn't able to dethrone the idiot governor that they have in that state. He won re-election as well. And, Beto O'Rourke lost his fight against Abbott, the current and re-elected governor of Texas.
I don't get it. I love him.
It's Texas, girl.
I know, but I mean, I love him. I want him to win something.
And he
I know that sounds fucked up.
Me too.
But like Beto O'Rourke. I think he's great.
Yeah, I agree. I think he is too. So you remember the argument that I got into Chris because of Beto? Because I think that Beto's a very hot guy. And Chris was like, I disagree because it wasn't Bernie. And this was like during the 2018 election. No, wait, what was it? 2016 election when Bernie Sanders was running and then, his people didn't show up and during the primaries and Hillary became the nominee and then Trump happened and Chris and I were just like, so Chris, I love Chris to death. I really do. And Chris, I love that boy to death, but his political, when it comes to politics and his love for Bernie and my, love for his policies but disdain for the person himself is just like,
I don't have disdain for Bernie. I just
think he's an angry man. Every time he talks, he's always angry. And I'm like, why are you so angry, dude? It's politics.
So last night at the wedding, Juan's nephews, there were 3 of them. And Nick was like, Simon was the ring bearer, and then I can't remember the middle child's name.
Jose.
Yeah, and
Carlos.
He like nailed it. He was like, Simon is the sweetest kid. The middle one, I can't remember his name. He's always angry. And the third was just like sweet as pie, like quiet, sweet as pie.
Right.
The middle child was literally like, I was like, thinking about it now, I'm like, you are Bernie. You were just angry the entire time, like for no reason.
Right.
Just like hair everywhere.
He's the middle child. He's like, he just wants the shit to get over.
Right.
I'm done. I'm ready for this to be over and go home.
No. And
that's what it is.
I want to make sure that people get it clear. I don't hate Bernie Sanders. I just really dislike that he just sounds like he's angry all the time. For me, it's a turnoff. I love, progressive policies. I think, we should all like have our fucking college debt wiped out and, awesome. Well, we just passed something recently. There was an executive order that was signed that was challenged that would get rid of some college debt for a lot of people, millions of Americans. I love that kind of stuff. I love, healthcare for all. Abso-fucking-lutely. I don't want to continue to like pay, a portion of healthcare.
At the same time, like, we're broke.
But we spend so much money on all this other shit.
We have no money to spend. Like, what are we doing?
Right. But I mean, don't get me wrong.
But we're sending billions across seas to help other countries.
Right. And we do that.
There's a lot of shit we shouldn't be doing. We're broke.
Right. I will tell you that,
we are indebted to China.
The situation in...
We're China's bitch.
Right? 100%.
100%.
Well, the situation in Ukraine is definitely warranted. Like, we need to make sure those people succeed.
Oh, yeah. Well,
what Putin is doing.
That's
but I mean, you're right. We allocate and...
But we're getting lost in the sauce while they do that.
Listen... We get lost in the sauce without having to do that anyway. Sure. It's like it's U.S. tax dollars, and they just throw it at anything that applies for
people that get social security. They got a bigger raise than most people that work,
and they deserve it.
Oh, 100%.
A lot of these people are worked hard all their lives and paid into that fund. This is what pisses me off.
What happens when that runs out?
Well,
if the government can't fund it?
Well, here's the thing. we continue to fund that. There's a misconception that the government somehow funds a large portion of Social Security. That's not true.
No, we do.
It's self-funded. The people pay into that program. We may not get to see it because Republicans want you to believe that it's going to bankrupt the country and we can't do that and we have to privatize it or we have to cut funding for this. Why? What do you need the money that we're paying into Social Security for? What are you going to do with it?
Because there is no money. It's all fake.
So it's like, yeah, with trillions of dollars, their plan was to hold the country hostage. So if they win control of the House, you know, the House has the power of the purse. So if Kevin McCarthy becomes leader, which is highly doubtful because I don't think a lot of people are going to want him as Speaker of the House, Congress, or at least the House of Representatives, has the power of the purse. So they get to dictate, you know.
Not with all the gay people that were just elected.
Hello. They're gonna have the power of the Gucci bag. No, but they have the power of the purse, and so they get to decide what gets funded, right? In a sense. And so,
you know what someone said to me the other day? They were like, they didn't say it well, but they basically said, "You're very interesting. Gays are very interesting."
How so?
Because, so my boss, right? He was like, he's the boss. But have you ever seen my big fat Greek wedding? You're the neck.
With Windex on it, yes.
And you turn the head.
That's my wife's favorite saying.
And you turn the head wherever it needs to go. And I was like, I mean, that's kind of my job.
Yeah. We sort of kind
all
of guide
these
people
homos being elected,
right?
They're gonna take that person, run, bitch.
Well, I mean, we'll see what happens. You know, we're still waiting. We don't know who has control of any of the chambers in Congress, but whoever gets the House has the power of the purse. And so, you know, funding, it'll determine whether or not, you know, what are you gonna do with our fucking money, Kevin McCarthy? Right? Like, what do you mean? You want to cut Social Security, bitch? Oh my God! Can we talk about the Representative Boebert? Is it? Oh, she's annoying. She's one of the Trumpers. You know, MAGA election deniers. Oh, Trump won. Blah blah blah. She's literally almost losing to a Democrat by 36 votes. That's how close it is, and it keeps changing. So she'll go up 2, he'll go up 5, and votes are still being counted. And there's a potential so she can actually get kicked out of Congress because she's not going to get reelected. And if that happens, I'm going to laugh so hard because she's another Marjorie Taylor Greene. Yeah. That type of representative. Very annoying. That kind of like, you know, in your face, like, you know, wears glasses. She's one of those. Yeah.
As of like 6 p.m., she's at 50.1%, and Frisch is 49.9%.
Oh, come on.
So that was as of 6 o'clock. So, I mean,
somebody tell me I'm going to be like Dump right now. I'm going to call the Secretary of State of whatever state she's in and be like, can you find me 60 votes?
60 votes.
That's all I need. Like, when Dump called Georgia's Secretary of State, just find me like, you know, 10,581 votes. It was like
just one more over hers.
Right. Just one more. Find it. I know it's there. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. So, I think this is going to be interesting to see how things play out in the next couple of days, in the next couple of weeks. Obviously, California, please hurry up, because the anxiety is killing me, and I think that's all we have today.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, that was a pretty loaded show.
Yes, it was. There's a lot of everything.
A lot of everything.
And I met somebody at Tractor Supply store.
Oh well,
I want to throw that out there. What was it that you said? Damn, you're on a hot streak. Yeah. I am. He was hot.
Solar powered.
I know. Like, what the fuck is wrong with my life?
Like, I walked into the store. I was like, oh, you know, I got 4 empty propane tanks.
You know what it is? That you are so confident about who you are. You know,
Honey,
you don't
with all
give
of
a-
this,
with-
you have to.
But like, you don't give a fuck about your, how you look. Like, I mean, you do, but I'm just saying, like, you think, like, you're just so.
Damn.
She about to get cut.
Meow.
This is a compliment. Like, you're just so confident that it's attractive. Like, you're beautiful, but you just exude confidence.
Thank you. I'll take that as a compliment. It was starting a little rough there. It
No,
was
I
getting.
know.
I was like,
But
okay.
you know what I mean. We're not small ladies.
The way
all of us are not.
you look, girl, I'm surprised. No.
No, that's not what I was. That was not my intention.
No.
I'm just saying,
Get
like,
it,
we're
girl.
not small ladies.
No.
We're all at a certain age, and
Right.
like, but you exude whereas I like. I'm very self-conscious about my body.
Once you hit your 40s, you stop giving a fuck.
I've been yeah, true, but
I probably got on that tractor like, hey, honey,
girl.
I've been every size you could ever imagine. I've gone.
We've
I've,
been there.
You know, I've gone from like a 25 waist to a 28 to a 34 to a 40 and back to a 36. And you know, it's like you yo-yo around. So where's Acador with
We
my
know
period
you,
tablets?
yo-yo.
You know, but no, I walked into the store very quickly before we let you go, and this guy was there. His hands are covered in paint, so you know he does a lot of manual work, and I'm all for that. I'm like, if you've got calluses on your
You're
hands,
handy.
come rub my body. I want to feel that manhood all over me, and
Like,
and
just
so,
the right amount
so
of,
he
like,
was
roughness.
walking, and I was waiting for the lady for the propane because I have 4 propane tanks. Spent $70 on propane so that my outdoor heater could have propane, so that when we're out there we can, you know, huddle. And he was by the dog section because Tractor Supply store has baby chicks. You can buy chickens there. You can buy feed. You can buy dog food. You can buy solar panels. You can buy anything, camping stuff. There's a whole bunch of shit that you can buy there.
Farm supplies.
And farm supplies. And he was over by the dog supplies and he was squishing the toys. And I walked by and I'm like, oh. And he turns around and looks at me while I'm staring him down. And I'm like, And I just keep walking. And then now he's looking at me. And then when I look at him, he turns away. And then when he looks at me, I turn away. And we were playing this game in the store. And so I was like, fine, you know what? I'm just going to go outside and grab my propane. And so I met the girl outside and she had 4 tanks to fill. And it took 2 tanks before he started walking out towards his truck. And while he's putting stuff away, he's looking back at me, putting my 2 tanks that were already filled in my car. And he keeps looking. And then, like, he just stops. At this point, now he's not even being shy about it. He just stops and just stares at me. So I put my tanks down. I looked at the lady. I said, I'll be right back. I walked over to his car and I said, hi, I'm Tom. And he gave me his hand. He goes, I am so-and-so. And, you know, he was speaking broken English, but, you know, I was like, okay.
I'm surprised you didn't say, like, I have a nail gun and a leaf blower at home, too.
I have a lot of things at home, honey. I've got a lot of tools. I've got a fucking saw. I mean, you name it, I have it. But anyway, so then he goes, so where are you from? You know, your name is Tom. And I said, well, I was born here. My parents are from Puerto Rico. He was like, oh, so you speak Spanish? He goes, yo soy de Argentina. And I'm like, oh, okay. So this is how, okay, I got this. So I said, well, listen, you're obviously on your way out. You look like you just got out of work all hot and shit. And I got to get these propane tanks back to my house. Why don't you take my number? And he was like, okay. So he just takes out his phone and he goes, what are you looking for? I was like, I look for a lot of things. I'm into a lot of things. So we can figure that out later. And so
bring those dirty hands over.
That's all I want. They were covered in paint. I mean, covered. And you can tell they're like hands that have been worked. Like he's been out swinging hammers and
He's married.
Probably. Hey, I don't know nothing. He hasn't said he was married to me. So he's going to be married to my mouth. But anyway, so I gave him my phone number and I just walked away. And then I got in my car, my fairy ass drove home and unloaded my tanks. And here I am. So in the past 4 weeks, it's been quite intense. Solar guys, dick grabbing guy at the store.
Dick grabbing.
You know, it's interesting. Yeah, there was this guy in front of the Krausers right down from my house, literally standing in front of my truck, like rubbing his dick and looking at me like, you want some of this? And I'm looking at him like, yeah, no, I'm on my way to a party. I was going to Jack's house. She was having her Halloween party. I was like, I can't stop home and get off because she's expecting me. Like I told her I was going to be there. You
just chose not to stop home and get off. Let's just be honest.
So he wasn't that cute, but yeah. So that was my Tractor Supply
ginger, he'd be late as fuck.
What if he was a ginger? I wouldn't even show up to a party.
Be like Jack, sorry, something came up.
Yeah,
and then me.
A couple of things came up. Many things, but anyway. That's our show for tonight. We're going to go ahead and close it out. So I'm going to toss it over to my bitches.
Actually, no, you're not.
What?
You start.
What am I starting with?
Oh, wait, no, that's right.
Girl, Mama Kim's Minutes, my love.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Here's Mama Kim's Minute. Number 1, Kroger settles with... Whoa.
With who?
Kroger settles with workers who say they were fired for complaining that the uniform endorsed pride. Number 2, Robert Garcia becomes the first out LGBT immigrant elected in Congress, which we already talked about. And 3, these history-making LGBTQ candidates have been elected to state legislatures across the country.
Which is, again, a little bit of what we've covered. These stories will be listed on tonight's post, so you can click on them and read them for yourself under the beautifully redone section that says Mama Kim's Minute. And thank you, Mama Kim, for sending us your stories. J Bear.
Moving on to this day in gay history.
Let's try that again.
On this day in gay history. In this day. On this day.
And you're thinking about things that are inside?
Inside. When November 2014 in Bangladesh, it was the first Hijra Pride Parade. Over 1,000 Hijra transgender women of South Asia with a long history hold the parade of Dhaka to celebrate 1 year since the government recognized them as a third gender. They carry banners, including one that reads, "The days of stigma, discrimination, and fear are over." It is the first transgender parade in a majority Muslim country.
Pride Parade. Yeah. That's amazing.
Bangladesh.
That's amazing. And that was in 2014. And not to mention, I think India legalized homosexuality in a sense.
You know what we didn't say? Oh, my God.
What?
We're still here.
What country was it?
You forgot something down.
She did. She's going to look for it. Okay. Silence is deafening.
And as she looks,
or is it golden?
Golden showers? I'm into those too. So, Jay, how are you?
I've participated once or twice.
Aren't they wonderful? Nice and warm on a nice fall day.
Did I ever tell you of my involuntary golden shower?
No.
Years ago, it's funny. I was helping my cousin. He does construction for a living.
Oh.
And we were fixing a basement for this lady in Trumbull.
Of course.
Termites ate half her wall, so we're redoing the basement. Her bathroom was torn apart. We had to take it apart, yada, yada. And we're putting everything together. So, I went upstairs and I told her, don't use the bathroom where we have the pipes off. So if you flush, it's going to end up on your basement floor. She's fine. We're working for like 2.5 hours, 3 hours. Last piece of the toilet pipe is done, right? My cousin puts the glue on it. He's like, jump on the ladder, put it on, squeeze it on, just hold it, let it cure, and we're done. I was like, perfect. So I set up the ladder. I get up on the on the ladders so he can just hand me the piece. And as he hands me the piece, you hear whoosh. She pissed.
Oh my God. All over you.
And flushed the toilet and everything. Yeah. My cousin, I've never seen this guy laugh. He laughed for like half an hour. The lady came down. She didn't know where to put her face. She couldn't apologize enough. And my cousin just sat there laughing.
I would have been like, lady, I smelt it. I tasted your pom-pom. Yeah.
She comes up, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I was like, well, now I cannot say I've never had a golden shower.
Well, there you go. That was more than a golden shower, girl. That was a
hell of a
golden shower
shower
with extras.
Yeah.
Did we talk about this on the show? I forget. I just want to highlight it, like,
Please.
really quick. So, same-sex marriage was legalized in the last state in Mexico.
I was just
One of
reading
the
that.
states in Mexico. One of their biggest states, I think.
One
yeah.
of the biggest states. It was Mexico City.
No. It
Mexico.
was
No,
I just had that up.
Tamaulipas, Mexico voted to legalize same-sex marriage through an amendment through the district's civil code the day after the same happened in Guerrero, according to AP News. These were the last Mexican states to make same-sex marriage legal, because I think Mexico.
So all of Mexico is legal.
I believe so. Yeah,
That's
because
amazing.
29 out of 32 states.
right, they had
have
already
legalized
legalized
same-sex.
same-sex marriage in
Yeah.
Mexico at some point, but not all the states were really adhering to that.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, I mean, it's the same thing we're facing with like all this abortion stuff.
Right.
If your state, ratifies something, then if it was ever overturned at the national level, you're still in your state
right.
safe.
Yes.
Right. Oh, and before we go, which is important to mention, that there were 4 states that had amendments, or not necessarily amendments, but they put on the ballot a question of whether or not something were to become legal or not in their state constitution. 3 states had a question that determined whether or not they were going to either legalize a ban on abortion or uphold the constitutional right statewide for a woman to have access to self-affirming health care. 3 states literally decided to keep in their state constitution the right for a woman to have an abortion.
Thank God.
And the state of Connecticut also had a question on their ballot, which allowed for you to let the state know through a popular vote that you want them to expand early voting in the state. So we're basically going to have an opportunity to actually have early voting. So that was important to mention because it just goes to show you that the people, that what's happening at the Supreme Court, what's happening in Congress, and the conversations they're having in Congress is far removed from what the actual people want in a lot of these states that currently don't have protections for abortion rights because of the overturn of Roe v. Wade. So goes to show you, people have power. Voting has power.
That's right.
Do your duty. So
Trust me, and I harassed my wife and my daughter all day. Make sure you vote. Make sure you vote. Make sure you vote.
okay. Even my mama went and voted.
Yeah, and even at the end of the day, because they really never replied to anything all day. And I said, well, if I get home and you guys haven't voted, you're not allowed in. No.
Proud of you. Proud of you.
So we
All right,
all
well-
did. We all did.
So, we'll just have to wait and see. We'll fill you in next week and see what happens.
Yep.
I want to thank you all for joining us on today's surprise show. We weren't going to leave the week happen without us, doing a little something for you, because we love you. If you love us, make sure that you go subscribe, rate, and review our show on your favorite podcasting service. By subscribing, you get the latest and greatest of our show delivered right to your web browser or your device as soon as we published our episodes. You can also support us on Patreon, which allows you, our listeners, to support the show with a monetary donation, which we collect monthly and can be in any denomination of $1 or more.
Jay?
Jay?
Next week, we welcome back the dish.
That's right.
And we may record on Wednesday.
We should. Record.
We may.
We may.
Who knows?
We have to.
As if you guys aren't confused enough, stay tuned.
Right. All right. Well, and now here's Nick with a weekly reminder. Well, not necessarily a weekly reminder, but this week's reminder for all of you bottoms out there who want to keep your buttholes on point. Yes, we are talking about Future Method. I'll give the bitch some love. Go.
All right, everybody, get the Future Method today. Each time you clean out with water or enemas, delicate tissues are harmed and cells are damaged, increasing chances of injury and or STDs. The first of its kind doctor-developed formula gently cleanses before you play without hurting your bum. Visit futuremethod.com to purchase your life-changing bum cleanser today.
Comes in a travel-sized powder now.
Absolutely, and it has come time to put a ring on it.
All the single ladies, all the single ladies, all the single ladies. Put your hands up. No. I'm sorry. Wrong finger.
Wrong finger. And our show is available on our website, GayTalk2.0 under audio podcast. It is also available as a free download on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Stitcher Radio.
All right, you can find us on social media, Facebook, GayTalk 2.0, Instagram, GayTalk 2.0. You can email us at GayTalk2.0 at GayTalk20.com. Tom, we're not doing Twitter anymore.
That's right. Yeah, I just want to let you know we close our Twitter accounts. We'll explain next week. If you want to reach out to us, just head on over to our website. Click on the Contact Us tab located at the top of your web browser. There, you can leave comments, suggest topics, submit a question for a cast member or an individual. Well, that's the same thing, host. For the cast in general or one of our hosts. You can also call us. You can leave us voice messages, tell us how great we are, leave us questions. We'll answer those for you on the show. Our phone number is 334-GAY-TALK. And if you need all those digits, it is 334-429-8255. Don't forget that we do stream live every Monday. Oh, God. We're all over the place. Every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you can access that live stream by visiting digitalstreamradio.com. With that, ladies and gents, that is our show. Thank you, and y'all have a good night. Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Gay Talk 2.0. Tune in next time for more dish.